Bienvenido, damas y caballeros. Welcome back to Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Freeform Network. And then send in those questions, ffnquestions at gmail.com. We're collecting them, and we're going to do a reader mail episode sooner or later coming up here as soon as we get a few more. But again, this is Freeform Radio. My name is Daniel. With me today is Andy.
It's all good, Andy, and we're here to rack your ears off and let's find out what's going on.
Yes, sir. And we got Noel.
Hey, how's everybody doing? Thank you for joining us.
Hell yeah, man. I'm a little tired today, man. I don't know if you notice it because I tend to think that I got energy all the time anyways, with my voice. But I'm a little beat, man. I'm beat. I can't wait for maybe a nap, even though I kind of, be shitting on Andy for him taking his naps, but I'm beat, man. I need a good nap this afternoon. But before that, let's get this episode in, man. And let's jump over to Andy, man. Give us an update on Vinnie Mac, man. What's his deal? I saw who was it? Meltzer released some article like the rise and fall of Vince McMahon. So I don't know if like the dark side of Vince McMahon is starting to come out in some of that dirt.
Man, I can't wait for that Dark Side of the Ring on Vince McMahon episode,
Right.
If they're around. I did read that Dark Side of the Ring partnered up with WWE to make some episodes,
Really?
not about the Dark Side, but like some other controversial stuff. But we'll see where that's going. But quick update on Vince McMahon. So I know we talked about it in the last episode, a couple episodes ago, about the payments on some sexual, allegedly some inappropriate relationships with female workers, talent, and other things that were paid apparently with WWE money. So at the time of the recording a couple weeks ago, he stepped away, and then they put Stephanie, and now he officially retired, and stuff's trickling out. He is not running. When Stephanie, they put Stephanie in charge, it's split CEO with the con guy. He was going to deal with the daily business and financial, and Stephanie was going to deal with more of the wrestling product. So that's where they're at, and they were still, the WWE was still doing its investigation. They found more. I think last week they found an additional 2 more NDAs. So right now the total payouts, I think within like the last decade, allegedly, it's almost $20 million. So I'm like, God damn, we're spending $20 million to get some to be getting laid. Just why don't you hire a hooker, So it's just the way his career looks like it's going to end, especially in today's climate. He's going to, and Dave Meltzer too, I haven't seen that article, but I do want to read it. But it looks like there's stuff coming out that he is not being involved in any form with WWE on the wrestling side. I know Triple H is back on creative. They hired back some of the wrestlers that quit or left or got fired. He's bringing back some stables, and there's some changes that are definitely in the works. I heard that for SummerSlam, the most recent big pay-per-view, there was little to no involvement from Vince McMahon. That was what was reported. And that the day that Vince retired, Brock Lesnar was scheduled to be on SmackDown. When he heard that Vince retired, he's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. Allegedly, he left, but they brought him back, or they convinced him to come back at the end and make a brief appearance. With that being said, I know a lot of people in some of the circles that I follow on social media, they're big proponents of Vince McMahon, and there's some people that really fucking hate on him. I'm in the camp where I think time just caught up with Vince. The way things used to be, that just, you can't do that shit no more, and especially now that the company is public and its stocks You got shareholders. You just can't run things how it used to be. And I think it finally just caught up to Vince. And it's going to be interesting to see with Vince not at the head of the company or in the wrestling side, what they're going to do or how is this going to go forward.
So there's a new head to the table, or what's that new faction Roman Reigns does?
The family or whatever. Yeah. The head
I
of
thought,
the table.
yeah, the head of the table thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, this is, I guess, since it's company related and he's using it to promote wrestlers, then I guess the company needs to get involved. But if he was having affairs on the side, to me, that's really nobody's business. But yeah, if he's using WWE money because it's promotion related, then yeah, I guess then
I
that's
think
when.
that's what did him in. If he would have used, even if it wasn't WWE lawyers and money, there would still be some type of like stain on it. But I think he could get through it. But the problem is, like anything in today's climate and work, especially because it's work related. He's a person of authority. He has power over subordinates or his employees, and you could get sued. All this shit can happen, and I think he just can't do that. And then on top of it, it looks like allegedly he used some WWE money, but he's like, I'm gonna pay it all back. But just to throw away $20 on just getting laid, I mean, I think buying a hooker in the last 10 years would have saved him a lot of headaches,
Right, right. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know how this is all gonna pan out. Him retiring, obviously, he was trying to get ahead of this thing, but I got a feeling that in 5 years, he's gonna be seen more as a villain of the company, and maybe not to the point of like Chris Benoit, where he's gonna be wiped out of history.
Nah.
But definitely, I think it's gonna be less as much about Vinnie Mac and more just about the growth of the company. Look at the dad, man. In documentaries that I've seen in recent years, the dad's mentioned but briefly. Like, yeah, here's Senior. He had this vision. He went through the usual, and then he sold it. And that's about as much of a blip. It's like a 2-second mention. And granted, Vince McMahon did do a lot of great stuff, but I think with what's recently going on, his legacy is going to be placed somewhere in that category with the dad, and be a 2-second clip on a documentary, and then they're going to talk about how Disney bought it and how they're doing this and that. Yeah. And that's about the extent of his history in the future.
I think the company is going to get sold.
Right.
I don't know how soon, but it is going to be I think the next evolution for WWE, being they're the only top wrestling brand. I mean, there's AEW, but in all seriousness, it's not WWE. There's other companies, but it is the top brand. It is, I read numbers between like $3 to $6 million, $1 billion the company's worth. I mean, that's a lot of fucking money. I think the Bears are worth like $5 billion. So, and they print money with the NFL. So it's, I think eventually it is going to be sold. I don't see Stephanie or even Shane at one point. It would have been nice if they would. Shane was around, but that looks like it's not going to happen. And, even his wife, allegedly, they're estranged. They're just like, we'll be married, but that's it. And they don't live together. They have separate lives. And it's just like bittersweet, like the way I watch so much wrestling. I used to watch it with my dad and family, and so I do have some fond memories. And Vince McMahon, even though you always saw Vince on TV when I was a kid in the 80s, I didn't know he was the owner until much later. And then he was such a pivotal role in pop culture at the peak of wrestling, like in the 80s, and it kind of fell back down again late 90s. He kept the thing going, and just to see how he got undone by just what men do, men of power and money, what they always want, women. and like that always brings down people. It's like men just wanting sex, and like I think it comes to a point where like just get a hooker, dude. Like I think it's so. It's just like, or maybe he thinks like I'm Vince McMahon. God damn it, I don't need no hookers. Like maybe it was that type of mentality. I don't know. It's sad how he got undone, and it's bittersweet, dude. He's such a he did so much for that wrestling business, and then he was liked by many wrestlers. I think he was liked more than anybody. He's done a lot of stuff, and it's just like it sucks. And that's what that's how he got undone. He just like that's how he got canceled. Like, go off, go retire, stay out of the picture, and not be seen or heard.
And good riddance, man.
He's like, you're fired.
Hey, what's our buddy Satermania say, man? What's his take on this?
Oh man, he was sad, dude. I don't know. I don't know. Are you friends with him?
Yeah.
Once in a while, he'll like some of my pictures, but he was not happy.
I got him on snooze, dude, because he be posting pics of Triple H and all this shit that I'm like, dude, give me,
bro.
I'm like, give me some current stuff, man. I don't want to see these pictures of you and your nephews when you were, 2 years old. It's just like, give me the new stuff and I'll watch those. I don't mind new pics, but it's like on the daily, like every day, no exaggeration. There's like 5 posts of like old pics, and it's just like, okay, dude, I get it. You've seen a lot of wrestlers. Give me current stuff, and I'll keep up with that, and I'll hit a like.
Well, we were talking about the last episode about C2E2. He was there, and he got pictures with CM Punk and some other wrestlers. So yeah, he was not happy. He loves WWE. He loves wrestling. He loves Vince McMahon, and he stated some, people they're gonna be happy to see him gone. He's like they're not, he thinks Vince is gonna be missed, and I'm kind of on that fence too. Maybe he needed to step back a little bit, but yeah, Vince McMahon that we know, he ain't gonna step back. But Satermania, he's a he's a product of the '80s with childhood wrestlers. He likes all of them, like Hulk Hogan. They did a documentary about him with him and Hogan, and I seen the documentary. I don't know if you ever saw it, man. I seen it. No. It has like Jimmy Hart, Hacksaw Jim Duggan. It has Hulk Hogan. It has some other wrestlers, and he talks about how he met Hogan and all this other stuff, and he helped them, and they became friends and shit. And it's I know Hogan, I think, tried to sue him or something about it. I never really get the details. We saw him at a wrestling show, but he was like, he didn't say much, and I don't know. It was just kind of strange, but that is one of my goals for Freeform Network, to get him, and I want to do a podcast with him. I'm like, I need to do a shoot interview with you, man. That's my goal. But yeah, I mean, let us know what you guys think about Vince McMahon. ffnquestions@gmail.com. So let us know. Just another thing, I've been at home lately. I'm on this mini vacation, and I'm like, somehow on my YouTube feed, I got into this sneaker community, people with Jordans and Yeezys, and I got in. I started watching this guy. They go to conventions, and there's just so much money with these fucking shoes. I can't believe it. I feel like I missed out on some money making opportunities here.
Well, like reselling them?
Yeah, dude. They're just like all Michael Jordan shoes. All they do is just the same style. They just put different colors and laces, and they stamp some shit on it, and people are going fucking crazy over them, man. And it's just like, there's this guy on YouTube I've been watching, and he goes and he buys them. Like, he sees people posted on Marketplace, offer up, all that stuff, and dude, he's like buying shoes for like $600, $800 cash. and he records all the meetings, and then he's talking to the people he's buying it from, and you can see the biggest concern they have in all this shit is they're fake shoes, like they're fakes or replicas as they call them. And there's this app called Legit, and then you take some pictures and it'll tell you if they're legit shoes or they're replicas. And some of the videos, dude, it's like the same story. They meet up, everybody's fucking nervous. He's trying to buy these shoes, like Dunks, Air Force Ones, Jordans, and they want like $400 to $600. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna take some pictures and put it on the app to see if they're real. And then instantly you see the guy selling the shoes just like fucking gets nervous. They start like twitching and shit. They go, you got a receipt? Where'd you get them? And then he's just like, they start stammering. And the app takes about 10 minutes to process, and it'll tell you they charge you $3 for each transaction to see if they're real. And what he does is like, all right, man, I'm gonna take the pictures, I'm gonna submit it. If you want to wait, you can wait in your car, I'll call you back. And he goes to the car, and he like sighs, like he's like, damn, this motherfucker giving me some bullshit story. And then the app says they're not real, and he's like, nah, man, they're not real. Like he says they're saying they're replicas. And people get pissed. And the best part is when he's talking to people about the shoes, where do you get them, how much you pay, blah blah blah. It's just like the story changes, or they're trying to rush them. It's always the same. I gotta go. I gotta pick up my kid. Like, do you want them or not? He's like, well, I'm waiting on the app. I gotta go. And they just fucking, as soon as they start taking pictures, everybody gets freaked out. That's
Everyone's
like the
trying to
best
scam,
part,
man. It's
yeah,
crazy.
dude.
Trying to make a buck.
And then the other big thing on it would let me down this rabbit hole, like StockX. You guys heard about that, right?
No.
Never heard
No.
it. So people submit shoes, like these high-end shoes, like Yeezys and Jordans, and they authenticate them for them, and then people can buy them. Dude, there's like $1,300 shoes. Like, it's fucking crazy. So lately they're saying that the StockX shoes, they're authenticating like knockoffs, and Nike sued them, saying that they had these fucking Jordans, like they bought 4 or 5 Jordans in like a span of 2 months, and like 4 out of the 5 were fakes.
Whoa.
And then they each one was like $1,000 plus, so they sued them, saying that they sell counterfeit good merchandise and all this other shit. And then they have like these that's like an ongoing lawsuit. And then the other thing is they have these sneaker conventions. I think there's gonna be one in Schaumburg. eBay goes in there and they fucking authenticate shoes for all these people. I'm guessing for a fee. And people record how they authenticate the shoes. There's like a smell test. Supposedly Nikes have these distinct smell from the factory.
Plastics, damn.
Like, I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, dude, they put their nose inside the shoes because they're brand new. They won't authenticate pre-owned shoes, but if they're unworn, they'll fucking authenticate them. And you see these people, there's like a handful of authentic. They put their nose in the fucking shoe and they like take this big fucking inhale. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And then they're like checking the stitching, the coloring, the box. They look for all this shit, and I'm just like, man, what a fucking racket, you know? It's insane. It's and then they're like, yeah, man, it's good. And then it takes them like less than like a minute or two, and then they're like, yeah, these are good, bro. And they put this tag on it, and they fucking scan it, and then they're like, nah, man, the replicas. So sorry, bro. And people get pissed, and I'm like, well, what did he do? Like, I want to know more. Like, how much did you spend, or like, what the fuck did you do? You know? Because it's like anything, man. There's such a demand for it. People are fucking people are just like willing to pay anything, hoping to get them that they're real. But it's just same thing I read on all the comments, like, this shit's crazy expensive, you know?
Damn, man. Hey, to me, I've never had a pair of Jordans, so I don't see what the fanatic ism is about it. I don't get it.
Well, I think you never had them, Dan, because you're cheap. I mean,
Yeah,
even
well,
back in the day, they were $100. Now I think the average pair is like the stand. I want to call them commons. It's like 120 to 150.
right. I mean, granted, when I was younger, I didn't have a choice because it's whatever my parents bought.
The
But
Pro
even
Wings.
but even in my older age, it's just I've never really felt the need for them, so I've never bought them myself. But yeah, yeah,
Buy them, dude. You might like them.
I might. I mean, I'm not saying that they're a shitty shoe and not worth all this hype, but I can't connect to any of these people because I don't see what the fanatic is about it. I just buy New Balances or whatever is
Old
comfortable,
man
and that's
shoe,
it.
but they are
Yeah.
comfortable. Yes, I'll give
Right.
you that. Maybe down the road I'll talk about it. For a while I was like, and down this rabbit hole of Pokemon. That's like a whole nother fucking racket. I'm just like, I got obsessed with that for a while, just watching these videos of people buying like $7,000 like boxes, and they're opening them up and people going crazy for them. So we'll see how it goes, man. But yeah, if you guys into sneakers, I know a couple people that are into it, and let us know what you think. Or do you guys use StockX or the eBay authenticators, or do you go out in the streets and meet people and fucking, buy expensive ass shoes? And are you worried about if they're fake or not? Because it is a big problem in that community. But let's go more forward here. Um, let's see. Noel has watched a new Amazon show, Reacher. I think that was a book, right? What do you think about? I did see a lot of commercials for it. So is it any good, or what do you think?
Yeah, dude. It's definitely worth watching. If you like, I don't know if you ever saw the Tom Cruise movie. There was a Jack Reacher movie.
Oh,
There's
okay,
there's
yeah.
been books about it and stuff. Yeah, I mean it's been around for a bit, but I gave the show a chance just recently. It came out, I want to say like a month ago or a little over that, and I heard good things. So I was like, eventually I'll get around to it. And I was kind of going through all the stuff that I have available to watch or whatever when I'm bored. And yeah, I started giving it a chance. I want to say it's about 8 episodes, so it's not too long of a season. It kind of wraps up pretty quickly, but it does give you a full, like, concise story. Um, it seems like it's gonna be not an anthology, but like every season, it's probably gonna be like a new location, new people, new actors, with the same main actor,
Okay.
Jack Reacher. So in this season, he's in this like small town in Georgia. It's like a blues town, and I don't want to give all the spoilers or anything here for people that are gonna watch it, but it's got your typical action. It's got some nudity in there if you want to see that female body is looking good. Um, it's also got like it's a pretty good crime story. It does deal a little bit deeper into like kind of government conspiracies. Like it's more like a town conspiracy. Like there's corruption within the town and stuff. So this guy, he's a ex-marine. He was raised in a military family. It kind of gives a little bit of his backstory as a kid, and then it quickly shifts into when he's an adult now. And he's really huge guy, dude. The actor, I forgot what his name is, but he was in the show Titans. He's been in a few shows. He's actually a pretty good actor. I just can't remember his name right now. He's relatively new, I want to say. Probably in the last 5 years, he became more popular and mainstream.
The Rock.
So no, that's more like 10 years, man. Remember Scorpion
Right.
King, dude?
Oh yeah, that's right. That was probably his first one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that this guy, man, I'm gonna look it up right now. But he's a big guy, dude, 6'5", and so he definitely makes the character stand out, make him look like imposing and powerful, and that's kind of what you want from a male lead. And the supporting actors were actually recognizable as well. They've been in other shows that I've seen as well. So Alan Ritchson, that's the main actor there. He plays Jack Reacher,
Okay.
and they just call him Reacher for short. Um, but anyway, yeah, he's a Marine. He comes to this town, and immediately he gets in trouble in the town because there's murders going on in that town. It's really small, so whenever there's a murder, it's like everybody's up in an uproar. And since he's like the newest guy to come in, all the townsfolk, they're like, "Oh, he did it." They're all pointing the finger at him, and so they arrest him, and I mean, obviously he didn't do it, you know. Otherwise, that would be a pretty short show right there. First episode, you're arrested, and that's it. So, I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of investigations going on, and he does clear his name, and he does help in the investigation. And I don't want to give any spoilers, man. There's a few moments where I guess there's a like the few people that are killed kind of lead to a conspiracy that starts to unravel, and the more they like poke holes at it, the more certain key members start standing up trying to block their investigation, and it kind of leads you to believe like, oh man, there is something going on here, and it's not just the town, but it's a a huge conspiracy that involves businesses, involves the environment, and all sorts of stuff like that. So it was pretty cool for that aspect. It's not just an action show. It's not just, you know, like a drama, but it actually has like a pretty cool plot to it. And like I said, it's a contained story in that season. So from what I gathered after the season wrapped up, you know, it's kind of like when the Hulk, the old '80s show, when he's leaving like a town or whatever, he finished, you know, kicking ass. You kind of just see him walking away into the sunset. That's kind
Right.
of how this was. So it's like, all right, so I think that town is done with. He's going to be moving on to a different town or something, and you know who knows what's going to happen there. But I do recommend it. I would say I'd probably give it like a fair score is like between a 7.5 and an 8. Um, there's really not much I can complain about, dude. To be honest with you, it's a pretty cool show. There's a few moments where I was like, you know, they probably could have spread it out a little bit longer. Maybe another 2 episodes could have had a little bit more depth into it. But for, you know, 8 episodes, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I accidentally watched like the first 10 seconds of this because I thought it was Preacher. So I clicked on it and I started watching it and I'm like, man, this ain't the Preacher. What the hell is this? And I'm like, oh, Reacher. I thought it was Preacher. Because I've been meaning for all these years to watch Preacher, the TV show, and I've never seen it. And
Oh,
I
it's
thought,
good too.
yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
that's
that's what I was
weird.
clicking.
I was actually looking for that show like last or late last week. I'm like, I want to see the that preacher show because I was on AMC, and I know they ended it. I think after 2 or 3 seasons, they ended it rather quickly, and I wanted to check it out. And it's funny you bring that up.
Yeah, no, actually, Preacher is another good show, man. I checked that out as soon as it came out, and yeah, you're right. It lasted 3 years. I want to say either 3 or 4 seasons. But while it was there, it was hilarious, man. It was a good show, a lot of action in it, and like they don't hold back. Like, you know, if you are easily offended by like people mocking religion, then don't watch this show because they're gonna mock religion all the time, and in a funny way, in a really well done way. Uh, one of the funniest parts that I can't get it out of my head. I think about it, it makes me laugh. They show you the descendant of Jesus, and they dress him up to look like Jesus, but it's like he looks like a caveman that's like semi mentally challenged, and so he can like barely talk right, and he like it was so funny, dude. I was like, this is the descendant of Jesus, and they're like, yeah, but he's the true blood descendant of Jesus, but we're telling everybody that this other guy is a descendant because obviously if we tell them that this guy is a descendant, people are gonna be like mocking Jesus and all that. They're not gonna believe like he was a Messiah because you know, look at this descendant. Looks like a fucking
And
inbred.
so they put up a like a puppet, like you're gonna be the face of Jesus,
Yeah.
but this is the real Jesus is back here.
Oh man, I don't want to
Yeah,
spoil it.
yeah.
You got to see it.
There's another show I wanted to watch was I don't know if you guys remember real quick Righteous Gemstones.
Righteous
Like
Gems.
it was on HBO about like the business of like running a Christian church. They're not mocking Jesus. They believe in Jesus, but like the whole business side of it is like it's just like just they make fun of it. It's almost like I think it's with Kenny Powers and the dad, his dad, who's the head pastor, is like Roseanne Barr's the husband, John Goodman or whatever. He's
Oh,
like the
okay.
head, and then they just like it turns into like the first season, like was like every Kenny Powers, that Danny McBride show. It's
Yep.
like a great first season, and then like after that, it just goes off the fucking rails. And then the
Damn.
second season was just like it got crazy. I'm just like, this is, it was funny, but it just got off the rails. And now I was reading, they're not sure they're gonna bring a season 3. So I mean, but that's another one. They don't mock the religion, they mock like the business side of it. And I'm just like, this is like, it was good, and then it just got off the rails.
I gotta check it out, man. Righteous Gemstones, you said?
Yeah, it was on
I'm
HBO Max.
gonna put that on the list for sure. I have a backlog, man. I actually just started watching this new show, Sandman. It's a Netflix show, and it's like a fantasy show, but it seemed cool. You know, it has like a British actor lead, and then it has the guy from Game of Thrones, Charles Dance. He's in it as well. So it has some cool, recognizable actors. So I gave it a shot too. Um, I'm still halfway through the season, so I'm not sure how it's gonna wrap up. I would say it's definitely got the touch of the modern I wouldn't say wokeness, but it's got some LGBT stuff in there, which is not a big deal for me. Like I don't it's actually I'm already used to seeing it in everything now. Like every show has to have some LGBT influence, which is whatever, man. I'm getting used to it. But the show overall is actually pretty interesting, and it deals with like I guess you could say like godlike entities, and one of them being Sandman. You know, from the lore, he's like the controller of dreams, like the Lord of Dreams they call him or whatever. And he gets imprisoned in the very first episode. And once he finally gets free, yeah, he's trying to get back the power he once had, and he ends up visiting hell, and like you see Lucifer in there, and it's pretty interesting. If you get a chance to see it, I think it's a 10 episode run. Um, but yeah, one other thing I wanted to cover. I'm actually
Well, real quick, that Sandman, it kind of sounds like Supernaturals, where it's like heaven and earth and all the layers in between kind of show.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't delve too deep into the hell stuff, but it is a part of it. It's just like it doesn't really. I don't know the full backstory. Like I said, I'm only halfway. I think I'm on episode 4 or 5, and from what I've seen so far, this guy is like one of the ancient. I guess you can call them gods. You know, like I guess Zeus was a god. You know, then Sandman, then Lucifer, and like they're not gods, but like they're entities of godlike powers. And so he's the controller of the dream realm, just the way Lucifer is the controller of the hell realm. And so Sandman's actually trying to go on the earthly plane, the plane that we live on, and trying to get his power back because it got stolen from him when he was imprisoned for, I want to say it's like 100 years or something like that. He was in prison for a long time.
All right, cool.
But yeah, I do recommend it. So far, I would probably give it the same, like a 7, a 7.5. You know, yeah, it's pretty good. The last thing I want to just mention, I'm curious about finally starting to watch these movies. I remember watching it when I was a kid. Daniel, I remember you watching them, and I would just be sitting nearby and watching it with you. The old Elvis movies. I remember
Oh
Viva
yeah.
Las Vegas. Viva Las Vegas is the one that stood out the most to me. Um,
The one with
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
no, Elvis.
Oh,
Elvis.
where
Elvis.
Elvis is the actor.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kevin Costner and
No. Like Elvis
No,
Presley, the human
Elvis.
being.
Viva Las Vegas, where he's with
yeah,
that one chick that he cheated on.
yeah,
Uh,
Ann Richards or whatever. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah.
Margaret. Oh, you're talking about the actual movie, not like someone
The
playing.
yeah, the '60s movie.
Yeah, Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah. I was thinking about rewatching all these old movies, especially because the new what is it called, biographical movie came out.
Hmm.
So I was thinking about watching. Have you guys heard about that new movie, the Elvis one?
Yeah, I want to check it out. It's gotten some pretty good reviews.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember the actor, the one that's gonna play Elvis. I remember him in other stuff, and he's definitely made his way up. He started off in like some fantasy, like one season show that was fairly decent, but I saw him like start to do other movies. He was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Tarantino movie. He was one of the like Charles Manson cult people.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
and
really?
fucked up.
Yeah,
By
he got
fucking
jacked up at the end.
Brad Pitt and shit.
Yeah. Oh man, dude. And then the dog like just bit his nuts and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Dude, yeah, that was such a good movie. But
yeah, yeah.
when I saw he was gonna play Elvis, I was like, okay, okay. Like, there are worse actors to choose for Elvis. I think he's probably a good pick for him. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want to check it out.
yeah. Actually, it's funny you mentioned it. I just got a rip of the new Elvis movie, so I'm hoping to maybe watch it later today or maybe next week. And then while I was grabbing that one, it was recommended a couple other older Ellis buyout picks, kind of like the one Andy was mentioning, the Kevin Cost, not the Kevin Costner, the is it
The
Kevin
3,000
Costner?
mile, the 3,000
3,000
miles to
miles to
Graceland. I
Graceland.
thought that's what you guys
No,
were
no,
talking about.
Yeah.
not that one. The one with your Roadhouse guy. Who the hell's that? Is it?
Kevin or Patrick
Isn't it
Swayze?
Patrick Swayze?
No, you're
Yeah.
thinking of the guy from I can't Kurt
Kurt
Russell.
Russell,
Yeah,
the Kurt Russell
yeah,
one that popped up
that
as
one's good.
suggested, and
Yeah,
I had seen it before, but I'm like, man, I haven't seen it in a while, so I downloaded that and the new one that just came out this year. So yeah, man, I'm curious to go check them out. So
yeah.
hopefully, maybe by the next recording, I'll have
The
some thoughts on it too.
the Kurt Russell one, I believe it just got released within the last year. I think because of this movie, they updated it to Blu-ray or 4K, one of those
Oh,
two. They did get upgraded, so I did want to see that because that was a made-for-TV movie. Um, and so yeah, that's probably one of the good ones. And there's a couple other ones where it's it's a good watch.
yeah, and Alana's been getting into well, we've been watching westerns, and I told her, I'm like, Elvis got a few westerns too. I'm like, I don't think they're that great, but we can watch them. And so I downloaded I forget the names of them now because they're so like obscure.
the
But yeah, I downloaded like one or two of his old like cowboy movies.
So the only one I like where his cowboys is Charro, and I think he only sings once, or he didn't. I think he sang once in that whole fucking movie because he wanted to take it like super serious. Um, and there was another one, but I wasn't too crazy about it. But I did like Charro.
I think Flaming Star, is that one of them?
Yeah, that's like one of his early movie. The earlier ones, Charro was like the later ones. But that one he sings a lot or something, if I remember correctly. That's why I said like,
Yeah.
eh,
It's like a musical, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the ones I got here, because like I said, I'm gonna start watching his older movies, Blue Hawaii, Flaming Star, Jailhouse Rock, Kid Galahad, and then of course Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah, the Kid Callahan, I seen that one recently, and that one was pretty good. And then the Blue Hawaii, that one's a good one too.
Oh, and another one that I remember you watched too, where he's racing cars and shit,
Yeah,
like
where he's a race car driver.
yeah,
Yeah,
Speedway, I want to
yeah,
say.
Yeah.
that's a good one too,
There's
man.
one where he races speedboats with the Hulk, man, Bill Bixby.
No way.
He made two movies with the Hulk. The speedboat one. I forgot the name, but he races speedboats, and then I think there's another one where they're like at a World's Fair or something. That one I vaguely remember.
I think if you watch them with the idea of what there are, you'll enjoy them. But if
Yeah,
you're thinking of like this grand acting, great movie, it's not gonna be that. If you go
exactly.
in it knowing that this is a low budget, it's him singing like one or two songs, and usually the song that he's singing is the name of the movie, then you'll have fun and you'll watch them.
Yeah,
There's
yeah, no.
one where he's driving like a motorcycle and someone jumps him and he does all this karate shit on him and he goes, "Oh man, you know karate? I don't fuck with that shit." And the guy just ran away. Just like he did like one kick and I'm just like, damn, Elvis, like he knew karate before it was cool and shit.
Those karate chops and shit.
Yeah.
Just they still got run away. Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna check them out. I still have to get the Speedway one. I'm gonna add that to the list, and I'm gonna look for that motorcycle one. Do you know the name of that one?
He's like in a carnival or he's part of the carnival or some bullshit. I
I'll
seen
look it
these a
up.
long time ago, but yeah, he does. They jump him on his motorcycle and he does like this roundhouse kick and some chops and guys get all freaked out and they ride away.
For sure, man. I'm gonna download that one. But yeah, that's the plan, man. I'm just kind of unwinding. this weekend just kind of took a lot out of me, dude. A lot of energy out of me. I had my parents' 50th anniversary, and so Daniel, uh, you gave a speech at the parents' anniversary. You know,
Yeah, I know.
what are your thoughts on it?
I know, man. It's like heart sought. People are looking for this infamous video that nobody has. So I keep seeing the texts go back and forth because I guess nobody expected me to say anything and record it. But yeah, the 50th wedding anniversary was just this Friday, and that's why I'm tired, man. Dude, I'm too old to do this shit, man. I was up until like 1 in the morning, and then I couldn't sleep, and I was up by like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I was like the Walking Dead yesterday, and today I'm a little better, but I'm still like in the recoup, you know, hungover, like I got a headache still, and I'm just like, Jesus, man, I can't do this shit no more, man. It's just too much. But
Yeah.
but yeah, man, the wedding, I thought it was awesome, man. It went together very well. A lot of people in the family got together and took care of it because, it was just the brothers, the sister-in-laws, and whatnot chipping in and kind of putting all the work to get this all together. And yeah, man, it was nice. My mom's only request was to have it at a church. She wanted to have it in a church. So yeah, man, it started off there, and then we did the pictures and the reception, and the music was half decent, good. The food was half decent, okay, and the pictures were all nice, and it was cool, man. It was cool to see everybody get together. A lot of people from the family couldn't come. A lot of them did come, but it was still cool to see the people that did. And I've only spoken to my parents briefly since then, and it sounds like they were pretty happy with the whole event. So really happy that we were able to do it, even with all the issues that came up as far as do we do this, do we do that. When you put like half a dozen people together and you tell them what do you think we should do, everybody's got thoughts and opinions, and it's sometimes it's tough to come to a consensus. But I'm glad it's done. Until their 75th, we don't have to worry about shit. So we got 25 years to kind of kick back and relax. So we don't got to worry about shit like this anymore. Well, at least not until your wedding, Noel. I'm sure yours, but that'll probably be more you and my parents and everybody else associated, and it won't be me. I'll just be here in the background, just be like, Dan, just let me know when to get there and when the drinking starts.
For sure.
So
But yeah,
real quick, Dan, yeah, I know your mom mentioned the church. So there was a mass and everything for at the church for the wedding.
yeah, that was the only part. My mom, she's like, God has blessed her with many years of marriage through highs and lows, because all marriages have highs and lows. And she wanted to really give thanks to God for being there with her. She's really close to the church, and to her, it's a big part of her marriage is the part that she associates with God. So that was like her one big request. Because at first we were just gonna do something small, just kind of something in the backyard, have un taquero or something come out, we'll do some tacos. But it kept growing into something bigger and bigger and bigger. And I think my mom kind of saw that, and she's just like, do what you want, but the thing I want is the church. So just make sure that that stays in the equation. So yeah, man. Yeah.
So I'm sorry, real quick though. So I know that like the reason I ask is planning any wedding, like small or big, it has its challenges. So did the priest have or anything, like did you guys have like a rehearsal or anything, or were your dad's like, what time I gotta be there and like that's it? Or because I don't think it was like a surprise, right? Like they knew about it, your parents,
It
obviously.
was
Right,
up
Your
to
right.
mom
them.
said
That's
that.
how it would have
So
been.
like, was there some type of your dad's like, fuck that, I did that once, and like I want to know like if they went to confession and all this other stuff.
Dude,
No,
That's
yeah.
my
it took
thing. That's
forever
what
to
I
get
wanted
him
to
to do
know.
that. Yeah,
I
he put
Go
it off
ahead.
to the last minute, dude. Like my mom's like, "Ya tienes que ir." It's like every day that she would tell him, he'd be like, "Okay, I'll go that day," and then like, he couldn't. And so the final day, I think it was, they went on a Thursday, and that was the last day
And the
before.
wedding was Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like the literally day before. But hey, man, it worked out.
Good.
And a big part of it too was my sister-in-law, Saul's wife, Vanessa. She helped organize, I want to say like the majority of the stuff, dude, and she took the reins, you know. She's a go-getter, so like we kind of just let her like, all right, hey, give her free reign, and what you need from us, let us know, and yeah, she handled a lot of stuff, dude.
Do you concur in this assessment then?
Oh yeah, man. My
I
dad,
don't.
I think he's settled back. At first, my dad is a real take charge kind of person too. He's real opinionated and he's strong willed. Um, but I think he saw that my mom wanted things a certain way, and he wanted to kind of appease my mom.
You
And
wanted to
I'm
make
sure,
her happy. Yeah.
and yeah, and I'm sure there was conversations behind the doors that we, or at least I didn't see, to the point where you could see my dad was taking a different role in this wedding, and he was just kind of asking, "What do you want? What do you need?" kind of thing, instead of being in the forefront and kind of demanding things. So, I think for the most part, he went with the flow, tried to do the best he can to accommodate everybody's request, because once you get women kind of driving the truck, there's a lot of opinions and a lot of requests. And my dad
Absolutely.
took as much as he could, to the point where he's just like, I'm gonna do these things, but these things are mine, and I'm gonna do it. You know, I'm gonna wear my botas. I know you rented me shoes, but I ain't wearing those. I'm wearing my botas. I'm wearing my shirt a little open. I know you got me a tie, but I'm wearing my shirt. And so he did his little intricacies the way he did it, and I think overall everything went down
That was
really
just
well.
rocking his style that he's known forever and shit. There's
Right,
nothing
right,
wrong
for
with
sure.
that. Yeah.
No, for sure.
Oh, and
But
he had
yeah,
a mariachi too, so you know he got to do that the way he wanted it. That was cool.
yeah, man. Everything went off cool, man. I don't have any complaints. I'm sure things could have been different in certain spaces, but at the end, it went down the way it was supposed to go down, and I believe everybody was pretty happy for the most part.
Mhm.
Good.
But yeah, man. The only other kind of eventful thing that happened to me actually just recently is my carbon monoxide detector went off while we were at home, and it was weird. I've had smoke detectors go off, you know, obviously like somebody's burning a tortilla or something, but I've never had like the carbon monoxide one go off. So it kind of freaked us out, and um, it happened to had happened at the moment that Alana was taking the dog out to the back. So we got ring, like everybody knows, at the house, and so I could hear her disarming it. I was in the bedroom just watching TV, and I heard the little chime, that the disarm and the door opening. And then shortly, like a second or two after that, I heard that, meow, 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 you know, like a whale, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And I'm still watching Three's Company or whatever the hell I'm watching. And I'm just like, you know, somebody's burning a quesadilla or something. Junior likes making his quesadillas. But then I heard Junior's door open in his bedroom too, because he had his door closed. And so I'm like, oh shit, it's not Junior. So then now I'm getting concerned. I get up. And by the time I get up, the wailing stops. And I go around the corner. Alana's outside. There's nothing on the stove, and the wailing had stopped. So I'm like, what the hell is that? So I walk back to the carbon monoxide, because I'm like, it can't be the smoke detector because I don't smell smoke anywhere. I go to the carbon monoxide detector and I hold down the button to test to see if it's working, and it does work. It gives me the chirp that the battery's fine. So I'm like, oh shit, did this carbon monoxide detector go off? So I tell Alana, and everybody starts freaking out. Oh man, we're just about to go to bed. I mean, it's like 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock almost.
Oh
And
man, that's
so it's kind of scary. It's just like,
yeah.
do we fall asleep? And then is this shit gonna kill us while we're sleeping? Because you can't smell it or taste it or anything like that. So we just moved into this house about a year ago. We're unfamiliar with any kind of weirdness. So we're like, let's just play it safe, and we called the fire department, man. They came out, man. It was weird to have to deal with that and make it into a big spectacle. But I guess the family got a little concerned, and even I was getting a little concerned, because I'm like, this is our first like full year in the house, so I'm not sure if something in the fall, summer, winter, some kind of weirdness happens where carbon monoxide builds up in the utility closet, and some shit's fume, or I don't know what the hell's going on.
Right.
So yeah, man, they come out, they do a test. I let them into the utility closet, because that was my first suspect of where this carbon might have been an issue. And no, they went through, they checked by the laundry, they checked by the stove. They kind of went into the bedrooms, and their detector was detecting zero. So the guy suggested to me to get a new carbon monoxide detector, because it was one of those combo ones that detects smoke and carbon monoxide. So he's just like, obviously it's not smoke because you guys aren't cooking or anything, but something set it off. I would get a dedicated carbon monoxide and a dedicated smoke detector. And I do have dedicated smoke detectors, but that was the only carbon monoxide combo smoke detector that I had. So since then, I've updated to my own dedicated carbon monoxide,
So
and that everything's cool.
usually those come with like a warranty. I mean, did you buy
Yeah.
it when you bought the house, or what? Did it come with the house?
No, when we bought the house, it had three smoke detectors, but they didn't have a carbon monoxide detector. So when we moved in, it was the first thing that I bought. That one that was there,
Yeah.
that went off, was a carbon monoxide, and they typically have like a 3-year, 5-year warranty, something
I've
like that.
I bought some and I found some at garage sales and I flipped them. Fire detect or the smoke detectors and uh, uh the brand one I can't remember them, but they advertised a 10-year warranty. So that's why I'm asking. But that was smoke detectors. When I bought this house, it had a carbon monoxide one. That thing was old as fuck. I cleaned it up and it worked in about the first year of the pandemic, so 2020. It just kept beeping and beeping and beeping. I changed the battery, it still beeped. And I did search it that when that thing craps out, it just beeps constantly.
Right, right. I
And
did
it
check
looked
that.
old. It is old. The one I had, I haven't bought a replacement yet, but I know they're a little pricey, but usually they have a pretty good warranty on them.
Right. I did think about that. I'm like, I spent maybe like $50 on that
Yeah.
one there. I thought about it. I'm like, man, should I take it back? And I did check the back, and it says if it's one beep is this, if it's two beeps, it's that. So I checked, and the beep audible that it was doing was for the carbon monoxide. And it does have a beep for when the unit is no longer functional or the battery's low. And it was not those beeps that were going off, or at least not the way I remember it.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm gonna take the guy's advice. I'm just gonna take it off, and just put it aside, and maybe I'll put it like in the garage or something, and it'll just be another one that I could have just in case. But yeah, I switched it out, man. Fire department came. A good thing they didn't come with the wailing sirens, because I called the non-emergency number instead of calling 911. And so they just drove up with their lights on, but no sirens swailing, them coming 100 miles per hour down the road. So
I'm imagining you ever seen the movie Backdraft?
yeah,
Remember
yeah.
that where they're playing the heat wave and the fucking thing's making all that noise? That's how I imagine they were driving to your house, like the middle of
Right.
the fucking night and shit, waking up everybody.
But no, thank God, man, that's not how it was, because
Was
I
there
was worried. I was worried about that, because by the time I called them and we settled in or whatever, to all right, we're gonna call, because at first we were kind of waiting it out. We're like, well, let's see if it goes off again, and then I'm like, man, is this shit gonna kill us in the middle of the night? We're gonna wake up and Bagel and Junior and all of us are just kind of laying on the floor all dead. I'm like, let me call the fire department, make sure everything's cool. So
Yeah, better
yeah.
safe than sorry, dude. And you pay your taxes, so that's tax money going to work right there, dude.
Right. I did Google it, because I'm like, man, are they gonna charge me? And I Googled it, and it said the fire department comes out for free to check. So I'm like, all right, man. Well,
Yeah,
if
how
it's
old is that thing, man? With the pandemic, it's like 50. Well, it used to be like $50, right? I mean, where we lived, I think anytime you called them for any service, it was like a $50 fee.
really, oh
Yeah,
shit. When they came and turned off my water, because I had the shut off valve replaced, and I Googled it, and it said that they did not charge, and I called, and it was something I asked, and they said they didn't. So it was the same thing for the fire department. I'm like, man, if they come out here and it's just bullshit for nothing, are they gonna charge me? Like, do I really have to have like a carbon monoxide, or do I have to like set something on fire and be like, man, you gotta come out here and turn this shit off, and then they don't charge me, kind of thing? But
I think each community is different. I'm pretty sure where we live now, we don't live as close in the counties where Chicago is. I think because they get inundated, it's a bigger population, so they got more people out here. It's less people in the where we live now. I mean, we're still in separate counties, but I don't. Maybe they're right. They don't charge, but I'm pretty sure if we were Cook County, I'm pretty sure there would have been a fee.
Right. I think
Drug County, more like.
right.
Yeah.
I think if I would be calling them every day of the week, then yeah, for sure, it would get to a point where they'd be like, "Hey, we got to start charging you for this, man. We can't come out here once a day, to check on this." But yeah, man, everything came out cool. Got my new detector, and it's actually a digital one that's got a number on it, and that's what the guy was kind of touting on me, man. I'm like, does this guy got stock in this, man? Is he? But yeah, I got one of those digital ones with a readout, and yeah, everybody sleeps a lot better. But Andy, some guy that's not sleeping well, it's this article of the week, man. So Andy, the article this week, man, there's a Maryland guy, Baltimore. This guy, they found him, man, and he was in need of medical attention, and he has amnesia, man. There's really not much to the article except that they found this, what they describe as a slim-built white man wearing shorts, needing medical attention, and they took him, they treated him, and now they're looking to identify this guy because he doesn't know who the hell he is. And like I mentioned, there's really not much to the article, but it just got me thinking. I'm like, man, it's weird how the brain works and how maybe did this guy go through some kind of traumatic event that his brain shut down and totally disconnected from what his past was to the point where he does not recall any of it. And it just kind of got me thinking. I'm like, man, it's really weird how the brain works. So I was just gonna mention, I don't know if you guys ever even thought about anything that being possible, or have even dealt with anything close to that in your lives.
I mean, I've gotten lost, but not because of amnesia as a kid, but
Oh well, I don't think when your dad kicked your ass in the forest preserve, that I don't think that counts, man.
that's what I'm saying. He might have given me amnesia, but I don't think so because I still remember the ass whooping.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, but that doesn't. He just says he had a scratched nose, and like they don't found anything if he got hit in the head or some shit, or maybe it's like some psychological amnesia or some bullshit, because the brain does have a lot of things. So I don't know. I mean, there's really no update on. Since the article got posted, there's no update on it. So I'm assuming that nobody really found found out who he was.
Right. Well, that's what makes me think that it's psychologically related, because he didn't really have injuries that made it where I would say like, oh, well, obviously he got hit in the head. Somebody hit him with a 2x4 kind of thing. But no, man, they couldn't find really any injuries other than like that scratched on top of the bridge of his nose. So they don't think it's anything injury related. So I'm just like, man, it must be the brain.
I would ask him what the last thing he remembers is, and go from there, and maybe give him a polygraph, and
Oh
make sure
shit, do
he's
you
not
think he's
lying.
lying? Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want to start a new life, that's really, I guess, all you have to do is, yeah, I don't remember who I am. Just help me out, and then that's it. Like, you start a new life, and unless people know you, I guess. But see, that's the thing too. It's like, in this current age, can you even really pull that off? Because there's so many pictures of us on the internet, and resumes and all this other, like social security numbers and IDs and driver's license. Like, unless this guy's never had a job, never had a driver's license, never had anything, you would think they'd be able to track him down somehow. Fingerprints, dental records. Like, in this day and age, it's really hard to stay a John Doe. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and man, I don't know if this is just the cheapness in me talking, but I've always thought, and this is before I got married, but I'm like, man, if the shit gets really bad and I'm broke and I got no place to go, man, I'll just act crazy and go into one of these psych wards and just live there, man. I get free food, I get medicine, I get water, I got people taking care of me, helping me change the bed and shit. And I'm like, man, could it be that bad to live in a psych ward? I'm like, I think I could
I
pull it
mean,
off, man.
there's really some fucked up people in there. So, maybe. I mean, if you wouldn't mind, I think The Simpsons did a joke on that. But
Oh, did they?
yeah, I'm reading the comments at the end of the article. So the last one was like a week ago, and they still nobody's talked about who this guy is. He hasn't been identified. So uh, people are like, this shit got political quick in this.
Whoa, man, it's Biden's fault. Holy
They're
shit,
saying
what the
that
hell?
it's Hunter Biden's brother.
Oh shit, he
And
does
then,
kind of look like him,
yeah,
right, man?
everybody's like, are you sure this is not Hunter Biden? And then like, oh, it's obviously he committed a crime and he's playing this I don't know shit. I don't know who I am. That is one
Damn.
other thing on here. And another thing is that maybe they don't understand why they just can't check his fingerprints. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, I mean, if they check his fingerprints and he's never done a crime, then he's not gonna pop anywhere.
Or even the teeth. Like, everybody's got teeth shit. So
Yeah, I've never understood the teeth thing either. Like, are they like registered in some kind of like database? Like, if somebody posted my teeth, you would find out that I'm Daniel. How's the teeth thing even work?
So-
Is there some kind of database?
So someone wrote on here, if you're in Baltimore, Maryland, when you renew your license, they take a thumbprint and a picture, so they don't understand why they haven't found them. So
Yeah, because he looks like he's in his 30s, maybe
Mhm.
something like that. So yeah, you would figure he's got a driver's license.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, kind of what Noel was saying. Like, there's so much, we're photographed and there's shit everywhere. How can we not be identified?
Well, luckily, Andy, we got Freeform Network on the case. We're gonna identify this guy and help him out, man.
So, but we agree it's not Hunter Biden.
It might
Maybe.
be, maybe an alt alias.
A doppelganger or whatever.
Uh-huh.
This is the original Hunter Biden.
Nah.
Replaced him.
But yeah, initially everybody's like, it's Hunter Biden, it's Hunter Biden, it's Hunter Biden. And I'm just like, damn. And then people were saying it's enough. Maybe he has amnesia from a side effect from a recent coup shot.
Maybe, man. Yeah, I guess I never thought that this would be, somebody trying to bamboozle somebody else. I just figured, hey, man, this guy's got a problem, so it must be psychological since it's not an injury related. So yeah, I never thought about that.
So if he has a cut in his nose, I'm assuming he got like sucker punched or something happened. He got hit. But I think there's something illegal happened, and he's just like, I'm gonna play this I don't know who I am shit until I get busted.
Yeah, I mean, medically, I was thinking like, all right, did he have a stroke? Did he have some kind of like, just a brain injury that doesn't have an external cause? Maybe it's something internal. Maybe he has dementia. Maybe he has Alzheimer's. Maybe he has like early onset stuff like that, or some acute drug interaction. But I mean, who knows, man? We'll see the story develop. We're on the case, like you said, but I think that's where we have to wrap things up for today. I just want to say thank you so much for everyone listening. Thank you for joining us on the Freeform Network. If you're not already, please follow us on Facebook at Freeform Network. We are on Twitter as well, FFR Podcast. And if you have any suggestions for future episodes, any questions for us, just drop that on by at ffnquestions@gmail.com. Again, from Freeform Radio, my name is Noel, and we have Daniel here.
Yes, sir. I'm probably gonna go eat some lunch and then probably take a good ass nap, man.
Very nice. Enjoy that. And we got Andy.
It's all good, Andy, and it was good talking to everyone, and we'll catch you next week.
Most definitely. We wish you a great night and a beautiful tomorrow.
That was cool, Dad.